welcome back to the Accommodation Show. We are on the Around the Country series, and today we're back in New Zealand. I'm really excited to bring Rayma Jenkins, who's part of our Facebook group, onto the show, who's going to talk to us a bit about her business, which is Cobden Gardens BnB, and how she's gone through the pandemic and how things are going. How are you going, Rayma?
Okay, every day is a little bit of a surprise. We would generally be in a quiet time, so it feels very much like it would be because our business is very much a seasonal business. But firstly, hello everybody. Cobden Garden Bed and Breakfast is in Napier in Hawke'S Bay, which is on the east coast of New Zealand and tends to be a more moderate climate. And so we are a popular domestic destination. However, our domestic travellers are not used to staying in bed and breakfast. They tend to go to motels, hotels, holiday homes. So it's been an interesting exercise. But yeah, we have our first Trans-Tasman bubble bookings coming up at the end of the month. So that's really exciting. And they've actually taken on one of our packages, so that's good.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to come to packages 100% for sure, because it's something that I'm talking to a lot of people about at the moment, especially in this kind of post-pandemic world. The bed and breakfast itself, how many rooms is it? You told me that you've been doing it for 20 years, which is a fair whack. How many rooms is it? And is it sort of bed and breakfast, wake up and
Okay.
traditional?
We are a fully hosted bed and breakfast, so it's not just bed and breakfast. We only have 3 rooms. So when people arrive, we offer them arrival refreshments. It's usually a cup of tea or coffee and some home baking. Then before they go out to dinner, I mean, obviously at that point we will discuss their plans, but before they go out to dinner, each evening of their stay, we do also offer wine and nibbles. And then after that, and help them organise a dinner. We're very close to the restaurants, like 10, 15-minute walk, quite a very cheap taxi fare. So it's easy for them to have a drink with us and some local fare, and then go off down to the restaurant. And Hawke'S Bay is very much a food and wine destination, so they really can get some really nice meals. So, and then of course they have to a comfortable night's sleep, and we're in a very quiet location. There's only 13 houses in the street that we're in, dead end, so it's not a thoroughfare. And most people might say they'll have breakfast at 8:30 and finally get here at 9 o'clock because they've slept so well, it's so quiet. Our breakfast is a full breakfast, though they help themselves to fruit and muesli and cereals, and then order a cooked portion from a menu of about 6 items that they can choose from. And we will adjust to, if they want poached eggs rather than fried eggs or something like that. So, yeah, so very, very much a hosted bed and breakfast. I guess very similar to the English model with a few little extras thrown in.
A few little extras. It sounds like a lot of amazing extras, and it's kind of making me want to come and stay with you and have a glass of wine.
You're coming to New Zealand. We're expecting you.
Yes, yeah, I'm coming soon. So tell me, so I want to go into that a little bit, just because I'm curious, and we'll go back into pandemic and kind of what it's meant for your business. But I'm really curious in terms of your, like you've told me what that experience is like. How do you communicate that to a customer before they've arrived, or if they don't know who you are? Do people know what to expect before they've booked?
Well, this is just a discussion my husband and I had last night, is that actually if they email us, yes, they are given all of that information, but the majority of our guests are international, like 90 to 95%, who come through agents. So the whole experience is almost a mystery for them unless they have looked at everywhere they're staying, and as often that's about 20 properties, they often just arrive and then find out everything. But yes, one of the things we're undergoing at the moment is changing our website from a brochure into an advertising tool. And one of the things we've realised is actually we don't make it clear that it is an experience. It's not just bed and breakfast. That there are these other things. So, but emails has always
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting one because also the term B&B has really been, I'd almost say, taken over by one of the big OTAs, which has really caused a lot of confusion as to what B&B means for a lot of people's minds. You know, is it, am I staying in a share house? Am I staying in a serviced apartment? Am I staying in a shared, like in a serviced house? Or do I get a bed and breakfast type experience or hosted experience? And then you actually have all those bells and whistles. And I think that that communication to the guest, one, it sets you out with a massive point of difference to your competitors, but really being able to communicate that effectively, not to those people that have already stayed is kind of the easy one, right? They already know, you don't have to market to them. But how does someone that has never been with you, how do they know without reading a review and without going deep that this is what they're going to get? Because I can promise you, there's a lot of people that will pay good money for that.
Well, the agent that works with us the most, we get most guests from, it is in their itinerary document to expect those things, the afternoon tea, the wine and nibbles. But some of the agents are not so familiar with us. I mean, that company, their agents have actually stayed with us, so they know the experience and they write up from first hand. But, no, some it's a complete surprise, and especially from the biggest OTA for us, because we only are on one, they have no idea. Even they see that they're going to get breakfast, but they do arrive and ask, oh, what do I expect? And I mean, we had one business person who was here for 5 days, and he was so surprised, so pleased, because he had somebody to sit down and have a beer with, and chat, instead of being in just a room in a motel and going along to the local restaurant pub for company after work. So yeah, they don't really know what the experience is until they get here. A lot of, if they come through an OTA. Look, but you're right, the confusion. I used to be the president of the Bed and Breakfast Association, immediate past president, and that particular OTA has kind of made it very difficult. But it's interesting that they are working very hard with hosted bed and breakfast to get on side and try and point out the difference between us and an apartment or a house. Or
can I tell you a secret? I'll tell you a secret. The reason why they want to get on board is because the problem is that if you guys start to do really good marketing, or if you start to stand out, then people will be forced to book direct. They'll be forced to give you a call, or they'll be forced to use your website to book, and that's their biggest threat, actually. That's why they want to play ball with you, is because, like, oh, hold on a second. Once you figure out that part of it, you don't really need them anymore, because they can't communicate with your guests as effectively as you can on their platforms, because they're all standardized, right? And what you're doing is you're communicating to different avatars. So be it someone that's over 60, or be it a romance couple that's in their 30s or 40s, or whoever it is that's going to be staying with you. If you can communicate effectively, then they're very likely to book, because you have a bespoke product, one that not everybody has, which is awesome. So I'm going to slow down a little bit and just ask you about, you mentioned briefly about the traveler profile, and there in New Zealand not having as many people understand your product and wanting to stay in different places. Am I going down the right path? So what happens? A pandemic hits, so you're getting all your traffic from abroad, right? That's kind of what you said. 90% is coming from abroad. That disappears, and then all of a sudden you're in a bit of trouble.
So yes, so we've had to learn about marketing to the domestic market. Doing Facebook ads and so forth. We are lucky here in Hawke's Bay. I mean, we've actually just had a meeting with our accountant. We had about 35% of the bookings that we would normally have in a season, and but that is great compared to some of the regions in New Zealand, because Hawke's Bay is popular as a food and wine destination for a lot of New Zealanders, and we had some circumstances that directed people to bed and breakfast. One was that there were some big floods in November, which actually closed down our one big hotel, and they were closed until the end of March, so all of the summer. The other is that I'm sure you must have heard about the emergency accommodation and transitional accommodation, the shortage of housing in New Zealand, and many of those people are in the motels. So there are very few motels available in Napier and Hawke's Bay. So so people, just had to choose what the next option was via an OTA, and that's how come they've ended up in bed and breakfasts. New Zealanders are also very cost conscious, and I have to say that those who do, at sort of $200 and less, have been quite busy. However, we don't really fit into that category. We're not luxury, but we do offer pretty good package, and it is a 4-star or 4+ star Qualmark. I'm not sure whether you know that rating in Australia, but that's our government accreditation, and so we are at the top end of that scale in bed and breakfast. We and the other thing New Zealanders do like is have been able to do some self-catering, and so the B&Bs that do have small kitchens available, and and even hotels in New Zealand are doing it, they've been popular as well. So so it's been an interesting exercise to change, but we've won a few people over.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, look, it sounds to me quite challenging as well, but also potentially quite fruitful for your future. If you've survived this long when you're under a lot of pressure and you've managed to do a bit more marketing and really understand your product a bit better, who you're catering to, you're probably under the understanding that for the next 12 to 18 months or 12 to 24 months, things are still going to be a bit dicey regardless of whatever travel bubbles that are going to be there in terms of, having that business model. Do you feel more confident now moving forward?
Plan A is that the borders will open in 2022, in which case many of our rebooks will make us very busy. Plan B is that we actually live in a small attached cottage that is going to be renovated by the end of the year, says my husband, and that can be self-contained, so we will be able to use that for New Zealanders if internationals can't come. So we're opening ourselves up to 2 options.
Right. So you're actually actively seeking out different avatars, effectively, or different kind of clientele to say, hey, we've got the space. We can offer something which is going to be quite appropriate, especially during pandemic times. If that doesn't work out, that's okay. We've still got that new option available. But you're trying to future-proof yourself by creating more options to appeal to different demographics.
That's right. And then plan C is we go into retirement. So, we've been practicing this last 12 months.
Yeah. Look, I know a lot of businesses, especially ones that we work with, that have done exactly that. They've sold their property, they've moved out to Queensland, or just gone away and just said, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. It's too much work, too much effort for not too much return. Which is completely understandable, but there's always going to be that property will still stand and probably still be a B&B, even if you're not doing it, or there is still going to be demand that's going to come through at some stage to fill that gap on the pulse with doing things like this. All right, so look, we've talked about a few different things about how you've been going through the pandemic, what your property looks like, and who you cater to, and that sort of thing. What your plans are for the future. What about the packages side? You said you sold a package. What does that look like?
When we started attending workshops and webinars and things after lockdown, there was a lot of discussion about doing packages, local businesses getting together. So I did set up a package quite some time ago, which includes a gourmet progressive dinner with a wine tour operator and an Art Deco walk, because Napier is famous as the Art Deco capital of New Zealand as a result of the 1931 earthquake. All of the buildings were rebuilt as Art Deco. So they're sort of wine and food and Art Deco make us stand out as something a little bit unique and different, and that's what a lot of our international guests come for. So I put that package together, and year. I think it's October last year, and we've only just sold the first one. And as I say to you before, our first Australian guest. So that is encouraging, but you just have to be patient. The other thing we have done, which has had a good uptake, and that's been something that people have been telling us, is to stay 3, pay 2, or stay 4, pay 3 kind of package. 3 weeks ago, I put it up, and I've kind of basically had a take-in each week, which I know for a big hotel, 1 a week is not much, but with small B&B at this time of the year, that's good.
Oh, look, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised that the guys that run the big hotels, they're using a huge amount of the ones that are doing it really well. So if you're talking about the huge chains, it's a different story, okay, of course.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about boutique, and if you're talking about creating brand and connection with the local area, incredibly important. Even if you are sort of a bigger boutique hotel, you have to do all this stuff. You have to do the packages. You have to give all these extras to be able to stand out and create that experience. So, because people are buying the experience, which is incredibly important. How did, in terms of the marketing of that package, you said you sold one. Is this going through the travel agents, or is this something that you've been marketing?
The travel agents are, at the moment, we're just updating our 22-23 rates. So we're on the books, but no, that will, well, I guess it will be, but it won't be at the price for booking direct. With one of the agents, I do already have, if they stay 3 nights, they get a Art Deco walk included. But I haven't, look, to be honest, I haven't thought that far ahead. It's been for the people booking direct and on newzealand.com, which is the New Zealand tourism site. You can have hot deals, so they're on there. And also our local, we call them regional tourism organisations, RTOs, their website as well. So there's those options as well as your own Facebook pages and marketing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, I think that packages are definitely the way to go. And the reason why packages really work for places like yours is that although it's targeting a different market, and it is targeting a market that's a bit more cash rich, and you might think, oh, people aren't cash rich, and the reality is actually there is a huge demographic that have a lot more money. And the reason why they have more money because they've been locked up, they haven't been really spending their money. If you look at the real estate market in New Zealand, you can see it's going gangbusters. So it's not like there's not money out there. It's just about creating those packages and those experiences that people want. And the one thing with New Zealand, I think, is that everything's so close, and people have had a lot of these experiences. You've got to find something that's going to draw in a local with something that they haven't kind of had before, or something that's going to cater to their needs. So, hey, I've got kids and a family. I just want to put my kid away and then go out with my wife for a weekend or whatever. So maybe that's a package with a babysitter. So there's these different avatars that we can target, and to really understand which one's going to work, you won't know until you try and test, and you do a few of these different packages, and having a few different ones, and then you go, okay, that one's getting the traction. Or what works really well is if you have some sort of a social media presence, so be it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you put up the offer, we say, hey guys, I'm working on a package, this is what I think is going to work. And you'll know straight away by how much engagement you get. People go, oh, that sounds amazing. You know you're onto something. If they go, if you get crickets, you know it's probably not the right one. So we always do that through our business. We always do a lot of testing just to see what and we always do it lightly. We always do lightly. Oh, who would want this? And then they go, yeah. And then we start to create the package there. But look, that's awesome. And I'm glad that you have sold that package. And I don't want you to leave. And I don't want you to retire. I want you to keep it going, figuring things out, keeping active in this, because it's an exciting place to be. If you get through this, you're going to be so much stronger coming out of it.
And we are lucky it is our home, and we don't have the big overheads that people who are starting out or just bought have got. But another thing that New Zealand we've been able to get into packages that have been provided by the government to upskill us in our digital presence, and we are working currently with a company, and they are helping us smarten up our website and develop another package, and that's going to be around an e-bike for tour, because we have something like 300 k's of flat cycle tour trails around Hawke's Bay. So yeah, we'll have them all covered off soon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, if you need any assistance or help with that, do let us know. You can also join our course if you like. We've got a packages course coming up, so that's being advertised everywhere. But look, Rayma, I'm going to wrap it up here and let you come back in 6 months' time and give us an update. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to do this, to share with the community. If anyone's watching this, then leave us a comment on the YouTube or on the Facebook page. Give us a subscribe. Let us know what you think, and if you've got any comments or feedback, we are watching and we will respond. Rayma, I wish you a really good day. And is there anything that the community can do for you?
Well, Australians, don't forget to come and see us. Hawke's Bay is a fabulous place and has a lot to offer. I mean, one of the things I haven't mentioned in the spring, summer is the very famous gannet colony. You do have gannets. Our gannets do come and see you in Australia when they're young, but they come back here to nest, and that's quite an experience as well. But we'll hopefully see some of you over here, and if you do run a bed and breakfast and you come to us, please let us know and we will talk mates rates, because I think it's great to support each other and become familiar with what the product is in each country.
Absolutely, and then, I'm sure you'll be well looked after and have so much in common to talk about and not be kind of on your own tackling these challenges and sharing best practice. I think it's amazing. So once again, thank you so much. We'll make sure that we enclose...
Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. We'll enclose the links to your place so people can look you up and they can find you and have a chat with you if they like. Thank you once again, and we will speak soon.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.